Soccer is probably the only American sport where globalization actually matters. The reason why globalization matters in the MLS compared to other leagues is because soccer is the only sport that is played throughout the world. Every country on this planet participates in soccer. You can't say that when it comes to rugby style football. You can't say that when it comes to baseball. You can't say that when it comes to hockey. And to a certain extent, you can't really say that towards basketball. You know, basketball, it's pretty popular globally, but it's not as popular as soccer. Because soccer is the type of sport where, or if you live in a third world country, all you need is a ball. All you need is a ball in an open field and you can play soccer. When it comes to basketball, you still need a goal. You still need a net. So that's why I say soccer is like the only sport that is and can be played anywhere in the world. Anywhere. So when it comes to Major League Soccer, there are certain cities that are supposed to be good in this league because of the globalization effect, because of the globalization factor. When people outside of America talk about American cities, the top 4 cities they talk about is New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Miami. Now, why are those four cities? Why those 4 cities are usually the most talked about cities from non-Americans, people who don't live in America? The main reason is because these cities are ethnically diverse. And it possibly could be argued like the citizens from other countries that live in these cities, they outnumber the American-born citizens. We all know how ethnically diverse New York is. The same for LA, the same for Chicago. Many people think that because of the hip-hop culture, many people think that Chicago is not ethnically diverse. Chicago is extremely diverse. And not only is not diverse only by like Hispanic diversity, you got a lot of Europeans. Like a lot of people from Eastern Europe, a lot of people from Western Europe, just a lot of Europeans that live in that city. And then when it comes to Miami, you got the Cubans, you got the Haitians, you got people from Dominican Republic, you got Jamaicans, just a huge Caribbean population down there. And of course, the Hispanic population too. So when it comes to soccer, it is imperative that these 4 cities perform well. Why? Because you have the type of demographic that's in those cities. You need their support in order for your league, in order for your team to profit, in order for your team to be sustainable. Because your typical traditional American is not really into soccer yet. Soccer is not the number 1 sport yet. It's still NFL, rugby style football, basketball, and baseball. Those are still the top 3 sports right now. So soccer is not on that level where they can solely rely on American viewership. You need global viewership. You need viewership from non-traditional Americans in order for your league to last well. This is why it's not a good look for Major League Soccer for Miami to be performing bad. It is not a good look for Major League Soccer for there to be empty seats at the Miami Soccer Stadium. Now, when it comes to sports fan in Miami, your typical traditional American sports fan in Miami is more into the Miami Hurricane, the college football team that's in town. Your typical traditional American sports fan in Miami is more interested in the Dolphins, the NFL team. They're more interested in the Miami Heat, the basketball team. They're more interested, well, I would say they're more interested in the Marlins, but the Marlins, they're just as embarrassing as the Miami soccer team right now, the Miami soccer team right now. So I don't really know. I don't really know if the Marlins is more popular than David Beckham's Inter Miami squad at the moment. I just don't know. But the top 3 teams that traditional American sports fans in Miami are into is the Dolphins, the Hurricanes, and the Heat. Those 3 teams. So as a result of that, MLS, you need your non-traditional American sports fans' support. But how will your non-traditional American sports fan that live in Miami support your league when you're not providing a good product? You're producing a bad product. You're not selling a good product to the public. And the thing about non-traditional sports fans, they're not like American sports fans. Like, if your team is bad, they will not show up to the game. If your team is not performing well, non-traditional American sports fans will not support your team. It won't be like the Cleveland Browns situation or the Buffalo Bills situation. Like, I remember those times where those teams were really bad. You still had passionate sports fans still rooting for their team. Non-traditional Americans, they're not like that. If you're not providing a good product, if your team is not performing well, non-traditional American sports fans will find something else to do. And that's why the Miami Stadium is empty every time they play. And the blame of this not only falls on the hands of David Beckham, but Major League Soccer also deserves some blame. The reason why MLS deserves some blame in this is because I don't believe that the MLS have realized how important it is for Miami to do well. Like, I don't think they realize how beneficial it will be for the league, the MLS brand, if Miami is performing well. Why is that? Because Miami is a global city. And the fact that it's a global city, you have a lot of people who have ties to countries where soccer is the number one sport. So if you have citizens living in a city as Miami that have strong cultural ties to the game of soccer, it will benefit your league as a whole if that city performs well. Atlanta is not supposed to be the best team in the Southeast. Nashville is not supposed to be better than Miami. Orlando is not supposed to be better than Miami. When it comes to best team in the Southeast, when it comes to king of the South in general, Miami is supposed to be the king of the South of the MLS. Just pertaining to soccer, Miami is supposed to be the king of the South. Why is that? Because Miami is a global city. Miami is rich. Miami is rich in cultural ethnicity to the point where every ethnic group that lives in that city has ties to a country where soccer is number one. Atlanta is not more culturally diverse than Miami. Nashville doesn't have stronger soccer ties than Miami. Neither does Orlando, neither does Charlotte. And this is where the MLS has to come in and help David Beckham. I don't know if the MLS asked David Beckham to become an owner of the MLS or he voluntarily chose to take on the leadership role of the Miami team in the MLS. Whichever is the case, the same way the MLS punished the Miami organization is the same way they need to help the Miami organization. Because as I stated earlier, there are 4 cities that needs to be the face of the MLS in order for the MLS to grow in popularity. And that's New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Miami. Because those 4 cities are the most global cities in America. Those 4 cities are the cities that people outside of America talk about. When people first think of America, they think of New York City, Broadway. They think about Los Angeles. They think about Chicago. They think about Miami, Vice City. This notion about parity and fairness. Parity is an illusion. Fairness is an illusion. When it comes to sports, there's no such thing as fairness. When it comes to sports, your most valuable teams need to be at the top every single year. It's the same argument I said in the offseason about the Los Angeles teams. There should never be a season where both Los Angeles teams miss the MLS playoffs. Now, when it comes to Miami, there should never be a season, at least for the next 10 to 20 years, where Miami misses the Eastern Conference playoffs. Parity and fairness is an illusion. The same way the NBA assisted New Orleans during that time where the Lakers was getting ready to trade Chris Paul. They're getting ready to make a trade for Chris Paul, and basketball fans was going to be able to see Kobe and Chris Paul on the same team. But the NBA, they came in, they interfered, and they said no, because they wanted to protect the small market team. That was a bad decision by the NBA. What the NBA did will go down as one of the worst sports decisions in American sports history. You don't protect the small market team. What is there for you to gain to protect the small market team over the large market team? What is there to gain for you to protect New Orleans over Los Angeles, a city that generates more revenue for your franchise? A city that generates more popularity, more ticket sales, more sports memorabilia for your franchise, and you chose to protect the smaller city over the big city? And that's why I said fairness is an illusion. Fairness is an illusion in sports. Now, I don't know, as of right now, I don't know how the MLS can intervene and help this Miami franchise, but they need help, and it's the MLS job to help. You have a celebrity owner in David Beckham. You are in a global city that loves soccer. There is no reason why Miami should be playing at the low level that the way it's playing. You wear pink and black. Pink and black, those colors are for bosses. Like those colors are for alphas. The Miami Heat with LeBron James, they didn't even wear pink and black when it was LeBron, D Wade, and Chris Bosh. They didn't even wear pink and black. And they were the boss. They were the boss of the NBA. They were the face of the NBA. You can't wear pink and black if you're one of the worst teams in the league. Miami should not be at the bottom of the league. There is no reason why Miami should be at the bottom of the league. When it comes to East Coast, MLS in the East Coast, Miami is supposed to be the face of the Southeast. Not Atlanta, not Nashville, not Orlando. In the East Coast, you have the New York teams and you have New England in the Northeast. Southeast, Miami is supposed to be the face of soccer, MLS soccer in the Southeast. Not Atlanta, not Charlotte. When it comes to the face of the MLS, you have the New York City Football Club, the New York Red Bulls, the Los Angeles Galaxy, the Los Angeles Football Club, Chicago Fire, and Inter Miami CF. MLS, this is not about parity. This is about marketability. So let's make it happen.
Who you wanna be like? Who you picture me like? What will I be when I grow up? Cause I never wanna be like them. Cause they never seen me shine, no. And I'm sorry for the meantime, no.